Frank, congratulations on the new express lane at HUD. There's been a lot of chatter about it, and also on the new mortgage insurance premium change. Could you give just a brief overview of the conceptualization of the express lane first, and then the implementation of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again, Ben, and thank you to SeniorCare Investor for putting on this webinar today. Before I came to HUD to oversee the FHA, I was a commercial mortgage banker, most recently at Walker Dunlop, where I originated loans for multifamily and senior housing and nursing homes across the country. So I had always, over the course of my 14-year career, specialized in FHA insured financing. So, I had a pretty deep understanding of the 232 program, the good, the bad, and areas where it needed improvement. So upon getting here to HUD a little over 2 months ago, I met with my 232 team, Roger Lukoff, Roger Lewis, Jen Bielman, Tim Gruns, and we discussed the problem that we had at the time. The 232 program had gotten so popular that there was a queue of over 100 projects, and it was taking 4, 5, 6 months for projects just to make their way through the queue and to get a firm commitment. So, understanding that, from my experience in the private sector and working with a lot of healthcare borrowers, that, most of the time, getting the HUD deal done is a foregone conclusion. Everyone knows it's going to happen. It's just going to take a while, and it's going to be a long, grueling process. So what I said to my team was, we need to figure out a way to prioritize, certain low-risk deals with repeat HUD borrowers who get it, who understand the program. So what we decided to do was implement the express lane, where when a deal comes through into HUD and it's submitted and it hits certain criteria, it will immediately be picked up, reviewed, and a firm commitment will be quickly issued. So the criteria that we came up with, and we initially did a beta test, and it was very successful. We had a couple deals where we were able to get commitments issued in 5 to 10 days. And what we said was that the criteria would be deals that were 70% loan to value or less, 2.0 debt service coverage or more, operator that had been in the facility for more than 2 years, with a solid track record in terms of quality care. So we said, 2 stars on the CMS side of things. So we did the beta test, and we went live with the express lane the other week. And, we're seeing a lot of great initial feedback. I actually just got an email from my healthcare deputy assistant secretary, and he said we had 2 deals where one, a commitment was issued in 3 days from when the application was picked up, and another one in 8 days. So we're very excited about this because we think, conceptually, you could get a deal submitted and get a firm commitment in 10 to 15 days, ideally even less, and then go right to closing. So, potentially you could be submitting deals and closing them in 60 to 75 days, which would then put us closer to, say, a Fannie or Freddie execution. So we're very excited about this. Our goal here is to really take inventory of all the HUD loan programs and figure out how we can streamline and deregulate things and get back to the mission of helping the private sector to make these loans.
Yeah. And what share of loans do you think will be issued in this express lane? What share will qualify, do you think?
Initially, when we took a look at the projects in the queue right now, we're seeing somewhere in the 15 to 20%. And I think as the industry and borrowers see the success of this program, that number will only continue to grow. If I'm a borrower and the lender tells them, hey, you can get your deal done in 60 to 75 days, they might say, well, yeah, I want to go express lane. And we may have more borrowers opting to utilize the express lane. So I do anticipate that number to grow over time.
And could you touch on what recent change happened with the mortgage insurance premium, and perhaps why that change happened?
Yeah, so that change relates to the multifamily side of the program.
Mhm.
So 223Fs, 221D4s. And really what we wanted to do was recalibrate the mortgage insurance premiums to eliminate the green mortgage insurance premium option, but then at the same time, lower the premiums across all multifamily programs to the statutory low of 25 basis points. So it literally saves developers and lenders tens of millions of dollars over the course of the loan in the MIP savings, and then even not having to do the ongoing compliance. So that really fit nicely into our goals of streamlining and deregulating things.
And then I'm going to open this up to everyone. What effects on M&A, if any, do you think will stem from the express lane, the implementation of it? Dave, you want to take that first?
Yeah, I mean, first, Frank, congratulations. That's really impressive. I mean, the time frames to shrink like that is unheard of. So from my perspective, so much of the transaction activity on the skilled side probably involves a bank or a bridge lender. And so to the degree that this gives a bank or a bridge lender or whoever the capital source is that thinks of themselves as shorter duration, more certainty, both as to timing and amount of exit, I think it has to help that market, just because you've taken some uncertainty out of the environment, Ben. So
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Right, I think a lot of times on the SNF side, bridge financing is ultimately relying on an FHA HUD takeout. So for the industry to know that not only is this capital available, it's readily available. So I think that the certainty that this brings to the market is huge.
Yeah, Dave, I think just jumping in here, I think that's right. For a lender with a large HUD queue and significant balance sheet exposure to skilled nursing, knowing that we've got a faster pipeline to take those assets to HUD frees us up to do the next transaction and keep things moving. But Frank, I'd put it to you out of curiosity, what do you think the impact is on the traditional 232 queue? If you're devoting more resources to this sort of fast pass approach, what does that do to the borrowers who are going down the long road?
Yeah. So overall, I think it's going to be very positive because it's going to free the queue up, right? We'll be able to bang these express deals out very, very quickly so that then we can focus on those other deals. So overall, yes, for the express lane deals, it's huge. Those will get done quickly, but it'll also allow us to then focus resources to the other deals.
Thank you.
Question, Patrick. And then Frank, I guess last question on the HUD stuff, but I know you're kind of fielding all sorts of feedback from the changes you've been making. So I'm curious, what other possible reforms are you exploring? Maybe if you could speak to some that you've been receiving kind of feedback from, and also just from your experience in the financing world.
No, I'm super excited to be here. I mean, to oversee the FHA is a dream job. Couldn't be happier to serve the country in this administration, especially to be able to leverage my 14 years in the private sector working with these loan programs. So right now, we're really in the phase of taking inventory of all the FHA loan programs, particularly focused on not just single family, but the multifamily and the healthcare space where I come from. And saying, how can we pull back a lot of this regulation? How can we streamline things? And how can we just get back to the goal of assisting the private sector in bringing more housing online? So that's what we're doing. We're literally busy going through, handbooks and statutory regulations to figure out, hey, what needs to be there and what doesn't need to be there. Over time, there's been a lot of build-up regulation. So that's what we're doing here daily. We're looking at environmental requirements. We're looking at radon testing. We're looking at NEPA, and just across the board, what can we do to streamline and deregulate these programs? We want to assist the private sector.
I mean, I think that would warrant at least an hour-long webinar in itself. But Frank, I want to thank you for coming on, and thank you for the reforms as well, and looking forward to what else may be in store in the coming years too.
I appreciate it, Ben. Thank you, and Dave, Carrie, and Patrick. It's great to hear from you all. and excited about what's ahead here.
Thanks so much, Frank.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Bert.
Appreciate you joining.